What's up, everybody? This is Cam, aka the Honky Tonk Hair Machine from Rugged Revival, and I'm here with Trey, Tyler, and Andrew from the Jet Black Roses. How y'all doing?
How's it going?
What's
Doing
up?
awesome. Doing awesome, man.
This is our first group effort, and I appreciate you all coordinating and coming to hang out for a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, brother.
So, all right. So, Trey, what do you do for the band?
I am the well, people say lead singer, but we're all in our own way or in form and fashion lead singers in the band. But I would say formally, lead singer, rhythm guitar, and then I write, one of the songwriters.
Okay. And Tyler, what are you bringing to the band?
Quote unquote lead guitar and quote unquote background vocals. I'm usually the guy singing below Trey. I'm the bottom of the sandwich, bottom buns.
The caboose.
Yeah.
So that leaves Andrew. Andrew, where do you come in?
Well, I play bass and I sing high harmony, and yeah, we all write, and that's kind of our places.
All right. Well, let's go right down the line. So, Trey, where are you originally from?
Place called Redbud, Georgia.
Okay.
We just got a Calhoun for the big city folk. We just got a Buc-ee's. So
there you go.
we're and I'm drinking out of this leopard print Buc-ee's cup.
That's pretty sick, though.
It's his mom's.
It's my mom. And we still reside in Calhoun, and born and raised here, and just love calling it home. It's in between Atlanta and Nashville, Chattanooga area. So I feel like we're like in this perfect median, to get to both places because we do a lot of work in both cities. So.
Okay. And you guys are you all three of you from the same area?
I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
But I've lived in Atlanta for 18 years, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Since 2008, yeah.
So, Tyler, when did you start playing guitar?
I started in middle school. I got a guitar when I was 11. My dad always had a guitar around the house growing up, and I took an interest in it, and so he got me a Strat when I was in 6th grade.
I see. Yeah, a lot of folks I talk to, it's like their first guitars were some kind of Stratocaster, variation. I think we're probably all roughly, if I have to guess, roughly around the same ages. So a lot of us were getting those Squire Strats with the amp and the gig bag package.
Oh,
that
that's
came
right.
out.
Well, my dad knew what he was shopping for. So he went to a pawn shop, and he got me like a 62 reissued Japanese Strat with a custom paint job. Hang on, I got it right here.
Oh, he still got it.
Yes, I still got mine too, man. I got my first guitar was also a Strat at 10 years old.
Are we pulling out our first instruments? I'm gonna go get mine.
Well, no, this is I just happen to have it. I replaced the pickguard, but it's got this cool custom paint job, so it's always inspired me. Yeah.
And then my first.
Yeah. Okay.
My dad went to a few music stores in Atlanta and played tons of guitars, and he fell in love with this Tex-Mex Strat that they were making at the time. It was like an anniversary, and that was my first Santa Claus guitar.
What you got there?
I think this is the Music Master bass that came with the gig bag, like you were talking about.
Yeah, that's the Squire joint.
The Squire joint, So that was my very first bass, short scale. I got the flat wounds on it now. And
they're all your instruments were still in like remarkably good shape. That's quite impressive.
Surprising because we beat the hell out of them too.
Well, I mean, when you got 20, that could, they all make it through the rotation. They don't get as much wear and tear.
That's true.
Exactly.
Andrew, how old did you say you were when you started playing bass?
I was 8 years old. I was always around music. Me and Trey are brothers. So, we grew up with musical parents, and they would play in rock bands and kind of like Western, like Americana, like Emmylou Harris, Flying Burrito Brothers, Graham Parsons type stuff. And Trey and I were just around bands. We used to actually, when I was like 7, 8 years old, Trey and I would for their bands, we would take the door money. And so we were just always around kind of the rock and roll lifestyle, and fell in love with it.
That's fantastic. So are you saying your parents were in a band back then?
Yeah.
They were in a band.
Okay,
My
cool.
mom actually ended up playing some shows with like Merle Haggard and Brad Paisley when he first got started. So we were kind of always around that. And then she made a record with Dennis Crouch, who played bass with Robert Plant on the T-Bone Burnett joint that they did. And Dennis produced her record. And
With Mark Thornton.
Yeah, Mark Thornton, who was Jerry Reed's guitar player. And so Trey and I were like playing with toys in the studio, like Spider-Man toys, and all these legends coming in and out of the studio, like Johnny Dumplings on pedal steel, and like all these like Opry guys that were like, they just got done playing the Opry, and now they're like coming in and like late night sessions. Me and Trey were like on the floor in our PJs, like had no clue, but just always loved that lifestyle. So.
Yeah,
That's how you know
awesome.
that's how you know you're dealing with like a legend, is when they're named after a Southern food item.
Yeah, Johnny Dumpling Cox.
Johnny Dumpling Cox.
Tim Collards.
So it sounds like Trey and Andrew, were kind of born and bred into the lifestyle. Rock and roll runs through their veins. Tyler, what was life like for you as a kid?
I was always surrounded by music. I was really interested in my dad's vinyl collection when I was growing up. So I would like take his records and dub them on to like, recordable cassette tapes and make my own tapes. And then I got my guitar in middle school, and then I had a karaoke machine with 2 tape decks. And so I figured out how to like multi-track by like bouncing in between tape decks and recording with them, and got a 4-track and got into, playing guitar like Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix and all that kind of stuff. And had a penchant for getting into trouble because I'd be like staying up playing guitar all night and not doing my schoolwork. And but I made it into college and studied jazz guitar and recording and production there, and then end up in Atlanta, where I've done a lot of session work and stuff over the years.
And then in a band, not doing any jazz.
And then, well, the key to being successful in the music business is to be versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
So be musically versatile, and then you realize, oh shit, nobody really knows how to make money in this industry. So you have to do like a lot of different things in order to like, connect all those dots. So versatility all around is key.
Amen.
I think that's a lost art too, man. I remember in some of my high school bands, we would go and get the multi-adapter, plug that into the microphone, and then get a splitter from Circuit City. And then suddenly your 4-track turns into an 8-track, and you can stick microphones all over your bedroom and, record that way. I love that, man. That takes me back. I used to love doing that.
I've still got my Tascam 4-track here. I still use it in the studio. We'll bounce stems on the tape and stuff with it.
And that's incredible. I didn't hold on to anything from back in the day. I moved around a little bit and did some house hopping, so I lost all that early stuff. But who originally put together the Jet Black Roses? Whose brainchild is this?
Well, we actually, Trey and I were in a duo our whole life, and we toured with like country people like Lee Greenwood and John Michael Montgomery and Joe Diffie. We were playing shows with people like that, and cutting our teeth. We were signed at EMI as songwriters very early. Like I was literally taking meetings when I was still in high school, and so we just kind of like built our career as a duo. Never really thought of like being anything else. And then like it's funny how the Lord takes you on a journey, man, because we needed a guitar player in a band for this showcase we had in Nashville at a place called The Analog. And we didn't really have a budget. So we had our keyboard player reach out to this guitar player, virtuoso, that he knew, which is Tyler, and said, hey, man, got this show in Nashville with these brothers. They're in a duo, but they don't have a budget, but they can pay you in weed cartridges. And so Tyler didn't say no to the interesting opportunity. And the rest is history. The first night we were together, guys, we write like start 2 songs that first night we met.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was like undeniable chemistry very early. And so Trey and I have never been ones to shy away from like that rock and roll lifestyle, which is like you jump in with both feet. You don't, you got to chase the feeling and you got to chase like the spirit where it's leading you. And even though we had built the duo in a lifetime, it just was kind of undeniable to us that like Tyler was meant to be part of this. So
it was like the missing piece. We spent some time out in LA, and I remember this songwriter we were writing with. He said, "You guys are crazy." He said, "You need a guitar player that can hear all the insane things in your head and not think you're nuts."
Mm.
And Tyler was that guy. I could, because I always have these like, I start a lot of the lyrical ideas, and I'll sometimes have like a crazy musical thing, and I've gotten to the point now where I don't even have to send Tyler my musical ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just like say, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking," and Tyler's like, "I got you, man."
Yeah.
And sometimes, and this is the weird part, is we will be working on a song, and Tyler and I will send each other lyrics that we're working on, and they're exactly the same.
And that's happened like multiple
Times. And it's like I just don't think you can, you can't manufacture a band in a laboratory. AI can't replicate that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I feel with these guys. And Andrew's my blood brother, but honest, Tyler blood couldn't make us any closer. It truly is a brotherhood, and we love each other, and it's we killed the ego day one, and just came in and said we want to be a light on the hill, for everybody. I want everybody on this side and this side and everybody in between to feel like, hey, this is a place I can come, and this is my music. These are my people. And that's what we all want, in this band. And thankfully I got it with guys that love good clothes, love good music, love good food, love good wine, and love good. That's so important, and it's hard to find nowadays.
Tyler, that's some high praise for you, brother. I can't tell. Are you blushing from over here? You don't look a
Yeah.
little red.
I mean, maybe a little bit.
No, that's cool, man.
I love my bros.
Yeah, it does take that chemistry for sure, and that's really hard to replicate. And I think we can, like you said, push your ego out of the way, and everybody's open to the ideas. And sometimes, my idea is not the best idea, but in my head, I think it is. You need to bounce that off of these other guys. So,
Amen. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's one thing that our producer Greg stresses when we're all in the room writing and recording. He's like, we're going to listen to every idea, and the best idea wins. That's like the rule number one of the creative process with us.
So, all right. So all three of you guys are singing various harmony parts in the songs, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So you got a couple challenges here, right? You're trying to sing within the harmony key. You're trying to put on a good show, and you're trying to engage with the audience. We can go down the line, but what do y'all think are some of the biggest challenges with making sure you're juggling all of those components when you're playing live and bringing the best show possible?
Well, I'll start if you guys are good with that. I think number one is practicing your craft before you step on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we all do, I think, daily. It's very important. It's important to do it together, but also if you're not honing your craft on a daily, weekly, then you're not, when you step on that stage, it's not going to be right. I think you have to have a reverence and respect for the stage. I feel like it's like holy ground to me. That's a musician's church when they're on the road. And I think respecting that and not looking at yourself as higher than anyone else in that room. You're going out there to just play your craft and share your talent with people that you hope will just connect with it. And I think that's the key. And as far as running into challenges, there are all kinds of things you can hit and all kinds of roadblocks you can hit in this industry. But as far as like when you have a band, I feel like that all connect. It's easier to step on that stage and that stuff becomes second nature. And it is that way and that's not me being a big headed guy or anything. So nothing bothers me. I still get anxious before I go on stage.
Oh yeah.
That I think, but I think that's healthy, because you're sitting there going like, you've not gotten used to it.
Yeah.
I think it's, that may sound crazy, but it's good to like not let yourself get used to it. Every time treat every night differently, because it's a different night. But with this band, we don't really run into a lot of roadblocks. We just try to get up there and we want it to be organic, like our songwriting is, like our playing is. And that's what our live shows are, is whatever happens. And sometimes they're unhinged. Sometimes the banter is just like us cutting up and it's just unhinged banter, getting the audience laughing. But I think the key is what we've kind of narrowed into where we don't run into problems is just practicing the craft, being connected on a soul level, having that chemistry and surrounding yourselves with band members, people that you bring on that some would call hired guns, bring phenomenal musicians. My dad always said, surround yourself with people who are better than you, because that's what will drive you to be better. And people that will not tell you, oh, you're great. Everything's good. You don't need to change anything. But people that you can look at and say, man, I got to up my game because these guys are incredible. And that's kind of what, so as far as running into, and I love this question, by the way, it's one of my favorites. But there's not a lot in this band that I feel like we run into, trouble wise. We run into more problems when they don't give Andrew a sparkling water backstage.
Damn it. No, go ahead.
Andrew, I want to kind of like change the question just a little bit for you. What's I find like maybe for myself, when I'm playing in bands, I've got a little bit of ADHD, and even when we're playing live and in the moment, I can wander. My mind will just wander. Andrew, do you have a moment when you found yourself maybe kind of drifting for a second, and what do you do in that moment to pull yourself back in?
That is a great question.
Andrew's definitely the mental drifter of the group.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Tyler likes to think he's not, but one of the things that I've noticed is playing bass, which is the low register, and singing high harmony. It's like a contradictory thing.
Yeah.
So it's something that I do have to be intentional. Like when I'm on stage, I am like very in tune with like starting pitches of like every single, verse, every single like, chorus. The pitch starts here and I need to nail it. I like to start my singing with like a very straight, like no vibrato, just so it like sits with whatever Trey and Tyler are doing, like just in the mix. And then I save my vibratos for like later. Like I am very like hyper focused on those types of things, even down to like watching Trey and Tyler, like how are their lips like saying this word? Like I want to like know every little detail. So it sounds like one voice.
He loves looking at our lips during the show.
Well,
you heard it here first, folks.
I do. You got the beautiful lips. Anyway, but no, I have found myself to get to your question, with all of that happening in my mind, I have found that there are moments where I become part of the song, like, and I am not like thinking these things. I'm just like in the moment, almost like like being at church or something. We have this song called "When the Whiskey Don't Work," and sometimes I get like lost in that. Like, just I almost feel like I'm watching the show.
Well,
Versus,
it's like when you're performing the right way and you hit what you're trying to achieve, it's really like a meditation, and it's a flow state, like,
right?
because you can't think of anything else. You blocked all that out, and you're just in the moment, like Andrew said. But you're a witness, and you're also like, holy shit, this is happening and coming out of me, and like there's like an
Yes.
energy with all these people.
I have had those moments, and I tell you, one I can give you actually an instance where we were playing at the F&M Bank Arena. We opened up for Styx, iconic band, but we did that song I was talking about, "When the Whiskey Don't Work," and I kind of felt myself in that kind of frame of mind you're describing, like where I was drifting. And kind of in between too, like the flow state that Tyler was describing. I was just in it. I was creating it, and I was just kind of like in this ethereal plane, if you will. And what brought me back was when I locked eyes. I always try to lock eyes with at least like one person or a few people every show. But this one lady, man, she was like bawling her eyes out, just like crying.
Yeah.
I get, the music was like moving her, and it brought me back, dude, to reality of like, you bring this to, because she needs this.
That's
And
right.
when we hit that hook, I was like watching her. I was intentional about how I was singing, but I got emotional to the point where I couldn't help it. I was like singing. I don't know how I got through it, but I was crying, man. I was like tears just rolling down my face.
Yeah, you connected
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was crazy.
There was a connection. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
that's super important.
I'd say the moments where I get lost in performance, like, and maybe flub a part or like miss an entrance, are like when I'm having the most fun. Like
Mhm.
if I'm just out on the front of the stage being a total rock star, like goofing, or like
Yeah.
me and Trey or Andrew are like cracking up about something on stage, and it's like when we're having the best time, that's when I might like miss something.
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of. Yep. You got to get back in that flow state.
But it
Right.
also though, I am a big Trey mentioned AI. Something that AI can't replicate is like perfect imperfections. And I think
Mhm.
that sometimes those little moments, like it's more about how we were connecting in that moment on stage versus like if you missed a note or if like something happened that what wasn't technically perfect, it was perfect for that show and for that moment.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Well, let's shift gears a little bit, man. It sounds like you guys have the live show locked in. So, I know when you're off stage, we kind of dress it down a little bit. But why don't you guys tell me when you hit the stage, what's your favorite go-to outfit? Jackets, boots, you got hats. What do you like?
Yeah, we've all got like pretty similar taste in the brands that we like. You
We're
know,
leather dad. We're leather
we're all
daddies.
leather daddies. Leather daddies. No, we love Master Supply. Like right now, I'm wearing this is like a John Barbados like suede jacket. I love John Barbados stuff.
Love
Uh,
Matt.
Fix
Yeah.
Master Supply. I love Straight to Hell. Those
Mhm.
are some of my go-tos. I'm a hair guy. Even though I don't have the long hair, I'm like hair product. And I like, reusable, those kind of brands and Jack Black facial stuff. I use a lot of their brand. Um, huge fan of that stuff, like while we're out. And we actually don't, when we go out, we sometimes go out and, incognito. But for the most part, we all dress. I go to Kroger sometimes just full garb, you
Yeah.
know, boots, bell bottoms, jacket,
Yeah,
sunglasses.
I'm really into the flare jeans and stuff. Like, I've always kind of loved like because I wear boots. I wear like vintage boots. I wear I love vintage stuff. Like I just actually was in Kennesaw at a vintage shop today and got this vintage. It's 1983, the Outlaws,
Oh, that's cool.
and it said "Why waltz when you can rock and roll." and it's from their 1983 tour. And on the back, it's got this big thing. And so really I love vintage clothes. It was $40, and I was like, you know what? That's a steal for an Outlaw shirt. You don't see these like that.
That's pretty badass.
But I got that, and I love vintage shopping. I love things that like are one-offs. Like I'm really into like I got these flare jeans right now.
Oh, those are cool.
Like just things that I find that I'm like, yeah, it's not a name brand, but I dig that. And then
dark and dirty jewelry. He makes all of the jewelry we wear.
Yeah, dark and dirty.
From Australia.
He actually made this one out of from our single King of Fools. Right. He's done a few rings from our singles. Like we got a song that's not released called Devil's Right Hand. I mean, he is a artisan, just incredible. And then an Atlanta guy, Southern Oak, and he made us these rings with turquoise, and we got the Jet Black Roses rings, of course. And this is actually from this is a native owned shop called Turtle Island Trading in Atlanta, Little 5 Points. And when we did our music video in Little 5 Points for King of Fools, they actually let us go in there and shop privately, and they believe that their pieces are like they draw the people to them, and they're each handmade, like for the spirit of the person. This one's called the White Buffalo. It drew me in, but
I love that story. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we love to buy native whenever possible.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important. True artisans that have honed their craft generation after generation, and are still doing it today is beautiful.
That's right.
And our great grandmother was Creek Indian, so that that's another thing special to our heart. Our great grandfather was Irish and married a full-blooded Creek Indian, and then she changed her name to Parthenia. I don't know why she chose the. I noticed that a lot. They chose like Greek and Roman names a lot of the times, and she chose Parthenia. So, but kind of we're all kind of similar on that. We're always looking for cool clothing brands and sunglasses. We love to shop small business.
Can you guys still hear me?
Sorry, was somebody talking?
I can hear you.
So, Trey and Andrew,
I can
I
hear
totally
you now.
agree with you. I love like all those brands, and I've got a bunch of the Master Supply stuff too. Tyler, what's your go-to on stage attire?
I got a cool hat. I got like my SRV / kind of hat I like to wear.
Yeah, you do give me some Stevie Ray Vaughan vibes for sure.
Oh, thank you, brother.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like a lot of Fix. They have cool like velvet shirts, and their pants are great. And so a lot of Fix and Straight to Hell, and let's see, vintage frames or sunglasses. I got a couple pairs of those I really like.
Nice.
So yeah, usually cool leather, trippy shirt.
Yeah, Clocks and Colors, cool another great brand.
Yeah,
right on. Have you guys seen that company Outlaws Amsterdam?
Oh, love that! Love that brand, man.
Yeah, we've ordered a bunch of stuff from them too.
Yeah, I love that brand. What I love about them is I love to find companies like that they're not crazy overpriced, but they're making incredible stuff.
Absolutely.
Here's some of my vintage Stetsons.
They're not skimping on quality.
I love Stetson, man. I think they make a great hat, and I've got a guy that's my tattoo artist actually, and he actually does hats for me. And we'll design them together. And his name's Mark Green, but he's a badass. And me and Tyler are kind of the hat guys.
Yeah, dude, I would love to get into that, like learn how to reshape and maybe get some blanks and just figure it out. And I'm a big Stetson guy too. When I find a brand that works for my weird body shape, I tend to be all in. Eli Cattleman, Wrangler, things like that.
Yeah, man.
Well, look, guys, I think we could talk for a long time. Maybe we can
Yeah,
do
we
a part
probably
two.
could.
Yeah, we can do a part two sometime. Do you have anything you want to shout out? You got a tour coming up, a new single or album?
We just dropped our debut album, self-titled. You can listen to it everywhere. Please do. I will say that Seal just gave us his seal of approval and shared our version of "Kiss from a Rose," which was a
Yeah.
big thing for us. We're working on a tour right now. We're playing Saturday night with Hannah Dasher and Decatur, and it's 2026 is the year of Jet Black Roses. I'll say that much.
Right
So
on, right on.
thank you so much for having us too.
Where can we find you on the socials?
JetBlackRoses.com. Will take you everywhere. We're on every social media platform. So just JetBlackRoses.com. Follow the links. We have all of our music, all of our videos there.
Got merch there. You can buy a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, right on, guys. Well, look, I appreciate y'all taking the time to come to hang out. I'm gonna end the recording now, but just stick on the line with me for just a hot second.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
All
man.
right. Thank you, brother.